I've been using a Sony A7C Mark II for about a year at this point, and I think I've come to the conclusion that this might be the most underrated camera model that Sony is making right now, and I think a lot of people are writing it off. And in this video, I want to talk about the things that I like and dislike about the camera, but also kind of bring it to your attention that a lot of people might be sleeping on this one. A couple months ago, I made an in-depth review about the Sony A7C Mark II at around my 6-month mark of having the camera. So a lot of the things within that video pretty much haven't changed. The things that I love, the things that I hate about the camera, pretty much consistent. I'll go over those in, little spurts, but if you want to check that out and read into that in detail, you can check out that video. Now, when it comes to this camera being underrated, I think the first reason that this camera is an underrated camera that a lot of people are overlooking is because when it came out, it was just marketed as a Sony A7 IV sensor inside of a smaller camera body. And for a lot of people, it's just like, okay, why would I buy that? And it makes sense, but if you think about it, the way that I think about it at least is like, when you strip down a good camera sensor into a smaller camera body, you're getting a lot of benefits from it. Now with the A7C, those benefits are having a smaller camera body, a cheaper camera body, and also cheaper media. The A7C Mark II still uses SD cards, and I know a lot of people don't really like SD cards, but for me, I love SD cards. It makes it so I only need one media in my backpack, and when it comes to size, I think having a smaller camera body makes it more versatile. Now to give you all a little bit of backstory on me, I come from primarily shooting music videos, and in that time frame, I used to shoot on cinema cameras like the Canon C200, the Canon C70, and even the Canon R5C. All of these are amazing cameras, but throughout this phase of me using cinema cameras to shoot music videos, I always had another camera body to create content on, to shoot photos on, to do behind the scenes on. And I feel like with the A7C Mark II, I can do all of those things inside of a super tiny camera body. Not to discredit the R5C and all of those other hybrid cameras out there, because you can produce a similar image, if not better. But I love the fact that this is just smaller than everything. And I know for a lot of people that's a con, because a lot of people care about the grip of the camera. A lot of people want a heavier build so they can go out and do nice handheld stuff that doesn't have crazy in-body image stabilization defects. Realistically, if you have a camera body and you want it beefier, you're just gonna put a cage on it, another handle, a top handle, and all of these different accessories anyways. I see the benefit in being able to strip all of that back and go to the smallest possible form if you need to. Not to mention I vlog and create social media content, so I don't want a huge camera anyways. Now back on the topic of being underrated. I think another reason that people heavily wrote this camera off or just didn't even look into it is because it's not an FX3. And even though the FX3 has been out for 4 or 5 years now at this point, it's still a lot of people's dream camera, and the people who do own FX3s love them. And not to say that the FX3 isn't amazing, but Sony has made significant advances in their ecosystem since the FX3 has come out. Things like autofocus has gotten significantly better. And I don't know if I'm the only person out there. Y'all gotta be completely truthful with me down in the comment section. I cannot see the difference in camera quality online with any video that anybody puts up. It's like everybody's raving about the new Lumix camera, the S1R2 or the FX2 or even Blackmagic, Pixis. Bro, I literally cannot see the difference between any of these cameras online. Once compression goes on top or people throw grain or do whatever they do with their processing, all of this stuff just looks good, bro. And I think realistically, it's gotten to a point where people equate camera quality to the way that the user of the camera is processing an image. Things like lighting, things like color grading. It's like, I enjoy the color grading and the lighting on this clip, so I think that this clip looks better from this camera than it looks on this camera because you don't like the way that this person colored or lit this. If you can light an image well and you can color grade an image well, everything looks good, bro. I can't see the difference. I don't care if you do 6K to 4K to 1080p. If you process the image right, bro, it just looks good. I think we've gotten to a point where it's like, you are really the problem. If you can't make an image that you enjoy, you're the problem. It's not the camera. It's not because this camera looks better than this camera. It's not because this is a better sensor than this sensor. All of this stuff looks good, bro. If you can light something and color grade it well, it's gonna look good, bro. The only difference that I'm seeing right now is between lenses. Like anamorphic to spherical to, photography lenses, I can see a significant difference in. But when we're talking about cameras, bro, I can't see the difference unless I go on YouTube and somebody's doing a comparison and they zoom it at 500%. But it's like, yo, who's doing that, bro? Nobody is doing that. But to get back to the topic, I think a lot of people wrote this camera off because it's not an FX3. And I get it, the FX3 is amazing. I'm not saying that that's a bad camera, but if I put an FX3 image next to the A7C II image, you are not gonna be able to tell the difference, bro, I'm telling you. Now, in my last video that I talked about the A7C Mark II, I talked a lot about how great the autofocus was inside of the camera. I think that this is literally some of the best autofocus on the market, if not the best autofocus on the market. I film myself a lot for YouTube content now, and I honestly don't ever think twice about the autofocus at all. And not to rave about that again in this video, but I think that this is the best middle ground option in the Sony lineup right now. The price of this camera is extremely competitive for being a full frame option in the Sony line. You can get an A7 IV, you can get an FX2, you could get like an A7 III, but you don't want that because it don't got 10-bit color. You can get an A7S III, or you can get, what's the creator version of the A7S III? Damn, I forgot what it was. You know the camera that comes in a white body? I'll put it up on the screen, I know what I'm talking about. To my knowledge, this camera does not overheat. I've used this camera in literally 110 degrees on a shoot in a desert, shooting a Cybertruck for a music video, and it gave me no heat warning or nothing. It's also a great hybrid camera with a pretty high amount of megapixels, so if you need to take photos, you can do that inside of this camera as well. It doesn't cost a fortune. You can vlog on it, you can create content on it, and if you need to get on a set and do some production work, you can also do it with this camera body. I think when it comes to versatility, pricing, features, image that comes out of this camera, this is the best middle ground option on the Sony lineup right now, and I think a lot of people are overlooking it. Before we get into the negatives, I want to show you this ad placement I shot on the A7C Mark II using a 24-70 f2.8 for one of my favorite partners of the channel. Bro, it's hot. I ain't even have time to get the proper attire for this heat, but Huckberry came to the rescue. From workout gear, to business casual attire, to quality basics, Huckberry has all the clothing and accessories you need to look good in this heat. I feel like I'm in a comfortable phase of my life, so I picked up these Birkenstock Boston clogs in a taupe suede colorway. Easy slip-ons with that quality suede, and a colorway I feel just matches everything in my closet. Aside from that, I got some Carhartt gear. I love this tee's graphics, and this tote is fire. Whenever I'm heading to a coffee shop to work, I need something to throw my laptop in, so these always come in clutch. I got a bunch of other really stylish stuff I can't wait to wear to events as well. These shorts and tops are some of my favorite. Huckberry has endless style variety in apparel and accessories, and it's all quality items. If you need a wardrobe refresh for this summer, make sure you check out the site using the link in the description below. I highly recommend it. Big thanks to Huckberry for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into the negatives of this camera. I talked about this in depth in my last video talking about this camera, but with a smaller camera body does come some negatives. You don't get a joystick, so you can't be as precise as you need to when choosing autofocus points. Micro HDMI is horrible, and I always feel like my micro HDMI port is about to go out when I attach this to an external monitor, so that sucks. And the viewfinder experience isn't amazing. Even though this is a great hybrid option to take photos on, putting your eye up to that freaking viewfinder does suck, and it is significantly better on a camera body like the A7 IV. But beyond that, everything about this camera has been amazing for me. Now you can dive down a rabbit hole. I'm sure somebody out there online is gonna tell you the roll and shutter performance sucks or the dynamic range isn't as good. But it's like, yo, these aren't even things that I think about when I'm making stuff, bro. Like, I feel like we have gotten to a really dark part of camera internet when we start thinking very in depth about these sorts of things. And I know to some people these things do matter, but for the majority of people, you're just using your camera to take amazing photos. You're using it to create amazing cinematography. And this camera is capable of doing both of those. I think the internet has gassed so many people into caring about things that they shouldn't care about when it comes to owning a camera. It's like the if you don't know complex. An example would be like me, right? I started using a Canon T2i, and I thought the Canon T2i was amazing until somebody told me how great the freaking 5D Mark II was. And then down the line, I got a Canon 7D, and somebody told me how great the GH4 was, and now I feel like, damn, I need a GH4. Do not let the internet gas you into thinking that you need a sub $4,000 camera body to create good content on, or good media, or good photos, a good film, or good short films, or good music videos, or good documentaries, or good interviews. You don't need this stuff, bro. In this day and age, pretty much every camera is good enough. I'm telling you, yo, just invest in lenses. A couple years ago, I was super guilty of this, and I think that a lot of people are also caught in this phase of owning cameras right now also. A lot of people don't realistically give themselves enough time to learn their camera. They take their camera out and they have a couple bad experiences on a shoot. Maybe they don't like the image that comes out of it. Maybe they underexpose the image. Maybe they have a terrible time color grading the footage. And immediately they just go to online, they hear what somebody says negative about their camera, and then they see what they say positive about another camera and they feel like, damn, my camera sucks, I need to buy this one. And then they sell all their gear and they go to this camera. And it's like, yo, you have to realistically give yourself enough time to learn the ins and outs of your camera before you even get to that point. Because no matter how bad you think your camera is, you can go online on Instagram or YouTube and you can find somebody who's using the exact same setup that you are and they are making an amazing image. And that just proves that you are the problem. You need to allow yourself enough time to learn your camera, to love your camera, to learn what it can't do, to learn what it can do, to learn what it thrives in, to learn what it struggles in. And through all of this, this is what makes you a better creator, a better filmmaker, because you're a better problem solver. I think a lot of people also don't think about lighting situations really make an image. Like, if you can light an image, and I hate saying this because we say this so often and you hear this online all the time, lighting is king, lighting is king, lighting is king. But it really is. Like, yo, if you know how to light an image, it's gonna look good right now because every camera sensor looks amazing. You can pull your iPhone out and if you light it great, it's gonna look like a freaking movie. If you color it great, it's gonna look like a freaking movie. It doesn't matter, bro. It really does not matter. Buy the camera that has the features that you need, bro. Like, if you need a smaller camera body because you're now more mobile, maybe you do freaking outdoor filmmaking and you need something that's lighter. You don't need a Blackmagic 6K Pro no more with the V-Lite battery on the back. Maybe you need the A7C because it's smaller and they got autofocus and you need to be more nimble and faster on set. Go buy that camera, not because the image is better. It's just about features. Like, what do you need as a creator? You gotta always keep in mind that images can be manipulated. If you need a different look, buy a different lens. If you need a different look, you can do it in post the majority of the time. The camera sensors and dynamic range and rolling shutter and all of these things do matter. I don't want to say that they don't, but in the grand scheme of things, they are super minor. And the majority of the time, these are not going to be the problems that you're going to be having on set that are going to be hindering you into making the image that you want to make. So this is my rant in the camera culture right now. And also, me just enjoying my camera, bro. It's gonna be somebody out there who says, yo, the A7C Mark II sucks and you need to buy this camera and you stupid because this camera's better and blah. Bro, I don't care. I love my camera. I enjoy using it. And I think that you should also buy a camera that you enjoy using and talk about the things that you love and not about the things that you hate. Because there's gonna be a lot of people talking about the cameras that they hate and Sony sucks and why they released the FX2, it stays so dumb, why they do this? And the Lumix is better. Bro, who cares, bro? Just use your camera to make something. All right. I'm done ranting, man. I'm out, y'all. Peace.